Hello family, and welcome to the Wonderfully Made Kitchen, where I make raw and vegan sweets and treats that you love, that love you back. You know, today's recipe is almond butter caramel apples. Is it caramel or caramel? I'm not exactly sure, but I'm going to call it caramel. If I say caramel, that's the country in me coming out, okay? Now, who doesn't like caramel apples? You know, my first memory of caramel apples was when I was a child and we would go to the Indiana State Fair and we would get hot buttered corn on the cob, cotton candy, and caramel apples. Now, you can't beat Indiana corn on the cob with the stick. That is the best thing ever. And cotton candy, well, you know, it's nothing but spun sugar. But caramel apples, they have some sort of health to it because they are apples, right? Oh yes, the memories of that fair food. Not so healthy, right? But oh so delicious. Well, here in the Wonderfully Made Kitchen, we try to healthify some of your favorite treats. Is that a word? I don't know. But this caramel apple version is quick and easy and dairy-free, because that's what we do in this kitchen. You can make the caramel in your high-speed blender, or you can use a small saucepan over low heat. Now, the best thing about this recipe is you don't have to unwrap hundreds of these caramel candy cubes. Ain't nobody got time for that. I'll get that later. Anyway, I will be back in a moment to show you how it's done. Okay family, I'm back. Are you ready to make your almond butter caramel apples? All right, you only need really a high-speed blender or a saucepan if you're going to be heating your ingredients on the stove. I'm going to be using my Vitamix because it is a high-speed blender and it can tackle the tough stuff, okay? And this is going to be kind of thick, so you're going to need something like that. 2 ingredients at a minimum, 4 at a maximum, plus your toppings. And what I'm going to be using instead of caramel candy melted, we're going to be using coconut sweetened condensed milk. And this is pretty healthy, relatively speaking, but this takes the place of all those caramels that you would be unwrapping. Okay, so this is already pre-sweetened, but it's made from coconut and coconut milk. Now, where I get this is from our local Sprouts, and I've also seen another brand at Walmart. This one is Nature's Charm, and I like this a lot, and it's about $3 a can. So I have this. It's a little bit warm. We don't want to just use it straight out of the refrigerator because it's going to really be taxing to your blender. So I'm going to pour this in. You know, this stuff really tastes really good with just a spoon. And I'm not going to say I haven't done that, but if I have, you're going to hear it from me. Okay, that's a sweetened condensed coconut milk. Now I have a cup of raw almond butter, and you can use any brand that you like. There's others that are on the shelves that are sweetened with maple syrup or honey butter, different ones. So this is the one I have. It's using it's Justin's brand, and it's 1 cup, and I'll put this in. And if you want, this could be the extent of it. Just these 2 ingredients if you want. But me, I have to be a little fancy. I'm going to add a little something else to it, just to make it extra good. Get all that out. Okay, that's the almond butter. You see how thick it is. So that's going to be very helpful when you want to coat your apples and when you want to put the toppings on them. Now, what I'm also adding is 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. And the reason I use the coconut oil is to kind of loosen this up a little, and also to have it set, you know, because when you're using the caramel candies, they already are hard when you buy them, right? So this is going to give it some, I guess you want to call it hardness when you put it in the refrigerator, so that it's not so sticky, okay? So I'm going to use 2 tablespoons. And this is totally optional. You don't have to use this, because I know some people are trying to defluff like me, but I'm just showing you what you can do. And I'm going to use a pinch of salt. Nothing better than salted caramel. All right, so I'll put that over there. So we're going to turn on our blender. Now, if you are using the stove and you're not going to use a high power, don't use a regular blender, because it'll probably overheat. And that, I don't want that on my conscience. So you can just use this, take those same ingredients, put it in a small saucepan, and put it on the stove on low heat. Low heat. Don't boil it, just so that the ingredients melt a little bit. Okay, I'm going to turn it on. It's going to be pretty loud. Okay, I'm back. Now I'm going to have to keep it real with you. My blender said I quit. I had already made a batch of this earlier, and it went off without a hitch. But I guess this was a little bit too thick, so I had to resort to the saucepan method. So my recommendation is use the saucepan method instead of the blender, because I surely hope my expensive Vitamix does come back after it cools off a little bit. So now here is the sauce, the caramel sauce. Looks lovely, it tastes lovely too. And you can also add spices if you like cinnamon, if you like cinnamon. You can also add pumpkin spice. It's that time of year for pumpkin, so that would be nice as well. And the most important part is the apples. Now you can use traditional apples like Granny Smith. Those are my favorite, and that's probably what I'll be using for my own personal ones. Or Honeycrisp. Those are also good tart apples, which pair very nicely with the sweet caramel. But today I'm going to be using these small apples. They're called Rocket, and they are a hybrid of a Gala apple. And the reason I like them is because they're so small. They're like snack size, just the perfect size for a sweet treat. And those have small children. You don't want to have a big gigantic apple. Or for those who are trying to defluff and they don't need a big apple with caramel sauce all over it either. So these are just the perfect size. And you'll be needing popsicle sticks. And you can get these from your local craft store. So here we go. I'm going to put the stick in the end, the stem end. Push it in good. And we're going to dip it in the sauce. It's going to come off very thick. I'm going to try another one. Okay. That one came out a lot better. Just wipe off some of the excess. And let it pool. Okay, this is if you don't want anything on it, this is how they would look. All right? But if you want to get fancy, I have toppings. Chocolate chips, mini chocolate chips. These are pecans, coconut, and chopped walnuts. You can use them all or none, or whichever combination that you please. And I find that it was easier to let the excess drip off for a bit before I decided to roll the apple in there, because for some reason the toppings also decided to pool to the bottom. So once a lot of the caramel sauce decided to pool at the bottom, then I could successfully roll it without all the toppings congregating at the bottom. So I'm going to put these in the refrigerator for about 5 minutes and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm ready to roll the apples into the topping. I just want to make sure that you know to wash the apples very well. Make sure the wax is off of them, because if they still have a lot of wax on them, the topping, the caramel sauce is just going to slide right off. Okay, so I have one apple, and I found it was easier to use a paper plate to roll the apple in, as opposed to leaving it in the little containers that I have, like this. And I just turn it. We have two good ones, and you get the idea. So I hope that you enjoy this. Well, here they are. Aren't these cute? I think they are, and I think they're going to taste just as cute and just as lovely. Well, I hope you enjoyed this demo of almond butter caramel apples. Feel free to change the nut butters if you like, or something else if you prefer. You can change the toppings to whatever you want to make it. Just make this recipe your own. You know, this is a fun project for the young ones in your home, as well as the young at heart. You know, I normally end my demos with a quote, and this one comes from the Word of God. It's Psalms 139:14, which says, "I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well." So, if you honor your body by eating healthy, nourishing foods, exercise, it will honor you back with health, vitality, and strength. So until the next time, family, have a wonderful and a wonderful day. I'm going to get me one of them Granny Smith apples.